Welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, the show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs use human design to shift from hustle to flow without sacrificing results. Come here to become an unshakable human and build an unshakable business according to your human design. I'm your host, Nicole. Hello and welcome to Unshakable with Human Design, everybody. I'm your host, Nicole, and today's episode is on a topic we've kind of been talking about throughout the month of January because we've had so much around this particular topic, which is chaos, which is crisis, we've seen a lot of upheaval. And I want to talk about just the concept of being what I call an aligned CEO. I always say inside my Business by Design mentorship, what we're creating are aligned and profitable CEOs. That is the goal. And when I work with CEOs or C-suite individuals, executives from the outside world, this is something that if they're any good, if they get to that C-suite, this is something that this ingredient I'm going to talk about, this constant practice of coming back to this one thing is something that they inherently understand. They either learned it deliberately from somebody else, from a mentor. They took it in from just years and years of experience, recognizing what got them results and what got them to not where they wanted to be. But this one thing, it boils down to this one thing to always remember. And this came up with a client of mine today. And I was like, you know what? I want to do a little episode on this. I want to actually make this the highlight. Because this is how we take ourselves from being struggling. And this was a journey I went on myself. I created a lot of the problems that I complained about in the beginning. I was the source of them. And not because I was trying to. Actually, the problem a lot of times was that I was trying too hard. I was pushing. I was trying to make something happen. I was, looking for love in all the wrong places. I was using the wrong tools for the job that was at hand. So this ingredient that I'm talking about, something to remember, a perspective or belief change around this, a new view around chaos and struggle. And when things aren't looking good, let's face it, in business, every day ain't sunshine and roses. Every day is not rainbows and unicorns. There are plenty of days where things do not go the way I had planned or the way I had hoped. So many of them. But the difference between me several years ago when I faced a day that didn't go well, that didn't go as planned, when I had cancellations and failed payments and people just saying no and nobody saying yes and really struggling to make every sale. That, Nicole, contributed to the chaos, to the struggle with her energy, with her attitude, with her emotions, with her inner dialogue. And the Nicole of today basically makes all of that negative stuff go away and shift and change into what she does want through that same inner work, through managing my energy, through understanding my contribution to the situation at hand. We may think we have no control over the circumstances of our life, but if you get caught up in the circumstances and those circumstances create emotions for you, and those emotions are negative or deep or heavy, and then you try to take action to try to make those emotions go away, to try to fix it, and then it doesn't fix the situation or the circumstance, then you feel downtrodden, you feel helpless, you feel like it's not working. Now you're losing hope. Now you're upset. Now you are in a negative or low frequency, and you're contributing to those circumstances. When people say get into the energy of what you want, it comes down to this. It's not, we think about it, it's like, oh, I just have to be in high vibes all the time. Just wee! And human design really helps with this. But I'm talking just purely from a managing our energy, taking responsibility for our energy. I've talked about that when I talk about being an emotional authority and taking responsibility for the emotions you bring into the room because they're big and other people feel them. We have to take responsibility for all of the energy that we have. When I'm talking about it in those circumstances, I'm talking about, I'm thinking about other people. But your situations are going to move up or down based on the energy that you bring to those situations. You have a choice in every moment of how you are reacting and responding to the situation at hand. It doesn't come down to just what we do. It comes down to the energy that we bring to every moment after we do something or after something happens. Every moment we have some control over. We cannot control the circumstances, but we can control the energy that we bring and contribute to those circumstances. And this is something that beginning entrepreneurs don't often really do. They contribute to the chaos. They contribute to the struggle. They get really down on themselves, or they take so much action that they're trying to fix things that they actually unfix them. They make them worse. I see this even with the people who are struggling to get ahead because they think that they are good in the energetic space. They think that they're good with their mindset because they've done that work before. They took the courses, they get a Reiki healing, they do all of that stuff, but they're not there yet. And they're at that like 6-figure-ish mark, but they can't really, it's not quite enough to put them in total comfort. So when those challenging times come, they do the toxic positivity thing. They're not really managing the energy. They're managing the way that they talk about the energy, but it's kind of bullshit underneath. They're scared as hell. They're not really dealing with it. They are pushing to try to fix it. They are trying to take action to make it go away. And it works because you can hustle your way to a certain level of success, but it never gets easier. This is where aligned and profitable CEOs really understand this, that this is where you need space as a CEO. And it can often feel really difficult to create that space for yourself when you have a lot to do, certainly when you're in the start or when you're trying to grow past 6 figures. It is a tough climb. 6-figure is a tough climb because you're usually doing it yourself. Now you're trying to get past that, and you need systems to get past that 6-figure mark. It can't just be, you have to have a plan and you have to execute that plan. And it has to be something that's repeatable. There have to be certain things that make it systematic so that it isn't so demanding on your energy. But you have to create space for yourself to process these feelings. So it isn't just bullshit when you're saying like, no, I know there's another client right behind that one. It's okay. It's only really okay if in your energy you believe it's okay. You can't say the words. I mean, the words are better than saying the other thing, I suppose. They'd be like, oh my God, it's all falling apart. What am I going to do? But you have to be able to actually regulate your nervous system. Your nervous system is a C-suite employee member, board member of your business. And so many people are overlooking that board member, and they're tarnishing and destroying things in those rough moments. You have to learn to process your emotions. Inside my program, we use EFT. That's kind of our main modality that we use, although we use many. I use visioning, I use EFT, and I use breathwork. These are kind of the tools that I rely on the most. But you can choose any ones that you want. But you have to actually dive into what you're feeling. You have to actually process that feeling because you cannot move beyond it until you do. And if you can't move beyond it energetically, then energetically you're still there with the struggle. Do you understand that, what I mean by that? Energetically, we are connected to whatever situation we are vibing with. So if we're vibing with fear, with there's not another client, oh my God, what am I going to do? Then tomorrow could come, the next day could come. You might start to feel better, but if that's the energy, you are still connected to that reality, not the one that you want. And until we learn to do these two things, which is to energetically connect to what we want, to remain there even when times are bad and challenging, and to take the physical action to meet the universe halfway so that we can create that reality that we are energetically connected to. We need to connect to it energetically, and we need to connect to it in a more tangible way through our actions here in the material world, because we want it to materialize. but we do it in the energy of what we want. This is how you become an aligned and profitable CEO. This is how you do it. You do these two things. So I hope that this helps. I hope that you see the value in growing yourself as well as growing your business. And I hope you see the value in being able to do these two things simultaneously, not one at a time, because then one's always behind. And we always feel like we're playing catch up. And no matter what happens, when we aren't aligned, when we aren't processing, and we're only focusing on that strategic work, on the tactical stuff, when the tactical fails, we can't hold up the energetic side of things. And that's when everything starts to fall apart and everything starts to take a step back. And we start winding back to that safe place that we were before. That comfortable place of maybe being really uncomfortable, but is known to us. So I hope that this inspired you to go deeper with the inner work. At the very least, become acutely aware of your energy in every moment. Really notice, especially when things feel hard, when things feel like they are not going your way. Are you able to hold the vibration, hold the vision for what you want, even when you're in this place of being so far away from it? Can you do that? And then if you want to go deeper, DM me tapping on Instagram at Nicole Official. If you want to know about how I do EFT, we have a little bundle that we've put together for people to get a little taster of what tapping with me is like. That will help you actually process some emotions right there. It's a very actionable program that we have there, a little bundle for you there. And if you just have questions about this and how you can move forward to become an aligned and profitable CEO, just send me a DM. Tell me that this is what you're interested in. Tell me about your business. And we'll hop on a call. I'll ask you some questions. I'll see what advice I have for you and tell you where I think the next right step is for you. Because everybody has the ability to succeed. But these are the skills, the non-negotiable skills that everybody needs to have if they want to. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you as always. And remember, in order to have an unshakable business, you must first become an unshakable human. So thanks for letting us help you become unshakable with human design, everybody. We'll see you next time. If you love this episode and you're a fan of the show, please show us the love on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you're listening to the show and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with other entrepreneurs on their human design journey, join our free Facebook community, Human Design for Entrepreneurs. Go to nicolelano.me/podcast links to join the group, book a human design reading with me, or access our free human design resources. We'll see you there.